Let's be real, the hype around AI is absolutely everywhere. But the big question, the one that really matters, is how do you actually make money with it? Forget all the abstract stuff. Today, we're going to dig into 4 clear, practical tracks for turning AI into a real source of income. So let's get into it.
Because that's the bottom line, isn't it? I mean, it's one thing to be blown away by what these tools can do, but it's a whole other game to actually harness that power for yourself. Think of this explainer as your roadmap. We're going to show you exactly where to start. So here's the plan. We're going to explore 4 different paths, starting with the easiest and kind of leveling up from there. We'll cover content creation, digital art, video, and even making physical products. And then at the very end, we'll put them all side by side to help you figure out where you fit in.
First up, let's talk about the most accessible entry point, using AI as your content creation sidekick. Just think of it as a way to seriously supercharge your output, whether you're making explainers about tech, writing about health, or diving into history.
The process itself is pretty straightforward, You pick a niche you care about, use AI to do the heavy lifting on research, and then you start producing. But, and this is the most critical part, look at step 3. You can't just copy and paste. The AI gives you a first draft, but you are the one who adds the real value. You have to fact check, you have to refine the tone, and most importantly, you have to inject your own unique voice. That's how you build an audience that actually trusts you.
So, how does this path actually stack up? Well, the difficulty is pretty low, which makes it a fantastic starting point for just about anyone. The financial prospects are solid for sure, but you gotta know this is a marathon, not a sprint. Success here is all about consistency and building that trust with your audience over time.
And how do you get paid? Well, it's through the usual channels. Think ad revenue, brand deals, sponsored content. The toolkit is super accessible too. Okay, so now let's take the same idea of having an AI assistant and apply it to something a bit more visual.
Okay, track number 2 takes things up a notch, and we're jumping into the visual world. This is all about becoming a digital artist with AI. We're talking about creating incredible custom artwork, for things like profile avatars, cool posters, or unique character designs. The workflow here also kicks off by picking a niche. Find a style that you genuinely love. But the core skill, the thing you have to get good at, is mastering the prompt. Your ability to describe exactly what you want in your head is everything. Then, after the AI generates the image, here's the real pro move, post-production. Look, no AI is perfect. Using a tool like Photoshop to fix those weird little details is what separates the amateurs from the artists who actually get paid for their work. The prospects here, they're really, really good. There's a huge demand for unique digital art right now. But that also means the competition is heating up fast. The difficulty is definitely a step up because mastering prompt engineering and photo editing takes real practice and, well, a good artistic eye. So you can make money a few ways, like taking commissions on social media, setting up your own little shop on a platform like Etsy, or even selling your creations on stock image sites. Your go-to tools are going to be the image generators like Midjourney, and just as important, your editing software like Photoshop.
All right, running right alongside digital art in terms of difficulty is our 3rd track, AI video generation. This is all about taking static content, maybe it's text from a blog post or a cool series of AI images you made, and transforming it into an engaging, moving video.
The workflow for this is actually really clever because you're leveraging assets you might already have, so you're not starting from scratch. You feed a script or a bunch of images into an AI video tool and it animates them or generates whole new clips for you. Then the final, absolutely crucial step is editing, stitching it all together, adding some great music and making it feel like a complete story. Let's face it, we live in a video-first world, so the potential here is massive. The tech is also brand new, which means you'd be getting in on the cutting edge. But that's also what makes it a little tricky. The tools can be a bit unpredictable sometimes, so you need patience and a knack for creative problem solving. For monetization, you could be looking at YouTube ad revenue, creating video content for brands, or even selling cool digital products like animated wallpaper packs. The key tools here are these emerging powerhouses like Pika and Runway, always paired with a trusty traditional video editor. Okay, our final track is definitely the most ambitious. This is where your digital AI creations literally break out of the screen and into the physical world. Yeah, we're talking about designing real merchandise, everything from t-shirts and phone cases to custom home goods. Now this
This is a full-on business venture. It starts with you designing an amazing, high-resolution pattern with AI. Then you create realistic mock-ups so people can see what it'll actually look like. And after that, you get into the business side, partnering with a production service, and finally, the whole world of marketing and selling your stuff online.
And this really shows you the trade-off perfectly. The difficulty is high because you're not just a designer anymore, you're an entrepreneur. You're handling logistics, marketing, the whole shebang. But the prospects are equally high. While it takes a lot more business savvy, this path gives you a serious opportunity to build a real-world brand. Your sales are going to come from your own e-commerce store, maybe on a platform like Shopify, or through social media storefronts like TikTok Shop. And your toolkit expands way beyond just design software. You're going to need mock-up generators and supply chain platforms like Printful or 1688.
Okay, so we've covered 4 really distinct tracks, and each one has its own set of challenges and its own rewards. So, how in the world do you choose which one is right for you?
When you put it all together like this, the trade-offs become crystal clear, right? Content creation is your low-risk way to get in the game. Digital art and video creation, that's kind of the sweet spot, with excellent prospects for a pretty moderate learning curve. And then physical products, that's your high-risk, high-reward path for the true entrepreneur. So just think about your own skills and what you're comfortable with. Where do you see yourself starting?
But here's the most important thing to remember. These aren't isolated paths. Not at all. In fact, you can stack them. You could start with content to build an audience, then sell that audience your digital art, and eventually turn your very best designs into physical products. You see? The common thread through all of this is that AI is the engine, but your creativity, your taste, your curation, that's the steering wheel.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. AI can generate endless options, but it can't create purpose. It gives you the canvas and the paint, but the vision, the story, that has to come from you. So the only question left to ask is, what unique value are you going to bring to the world?